Hey everybody, Goosebumps for Dummies here, and today we are going to be capping off the August/mostly summer season for us. I go back to school very soon with a explicitly summer read, Scary Summer, a Goosebumps graphic novel, the third of its very short-lived series, and technically the final one if you don't count Slappick's Tales of Horror, which I will be reviewing someday. My god, I love reviewing comics from Goosebumps as much as I don't like comics myself, just because they're a nice breath of fresh air from the typical Goosebumps story. And even if I don't like this one as much as I wish it did, spoiler alert, it's not the best. It's actually the weakest of the trilogy, I'd say. A trilogy of comics, not the stories. It's still fun to be reviewing these, so let me know what you think about this one down below, and let's dive in. And now for the pretty much lack of a blurb. Some are fun, some are fear. The horror at Camp Jelly Jam is done by Kyle Baker, Ghost Speech is done by Ted, gonna butcher this, and the Fae, and The Revenge of the Longhams is done by Dean Haspiel. Now, this is a obviously summer-themed trilogy, and, well, I don't really love this one as much as I wish I did. Mostly it's one story I think it's worth reading for. It's still, again, worth reading for overall, especially if you might find some merit in this. But personally, this wasn't the best of the trilogy. In fact, probably the weakest. It's just okay overall. Now, obviously, with these being more faithful adaptations of stories compared to, like, episodes and the movies, this pretty much has a lot of upside you'd find in those stories. And, of course, if you've seen my reviews for the free stories here, the original ones, though, I actually like all three of them, though we'll get the law numbers later, if you know what I mean. Ghost Beach is easily my favorite here, and it's mostly because it really improved one key thing, which was the pacing. Comics are notably shorter than, Goosebumps reads and books in general. Unless it's like a trillion-page manga or something, then it's going to be pretty long. These are like 40 pages each, and it really improves the quality of that story, because that story is notoriously not worth its page count, especially in my eyes. I really don't think it needed to be like 120 pages, when it could have been like a 60 pages at most ghost story, or even a Tales story for Goosebumps. And it's a good story, just didn't need to be that long. And it's not that long here. And not even just that, I think the art style, whilst I'm going to be blunt here, I don't like comics, and I hate anime. I really don't like it, especially for the voice acting. I actually found myself quite liking it, just because, mostly for the backgrounds, and some of the designs are actually pretty good, especially for Harrison Sadler. It's creepy as fuck. But yeah, Ghost Beach is very much worth reading here, especially if you actually like the original story. It's a mild improvement overall, but it vastly improves on the pacing. And Jelly Jam, that original story is intact, and I think it's a decent story. One thing, though, I do think the art style is just fine for that one. There's moments that are, not very good for art, from an artistic standpoint, but it's decent, but that's it. When you adapt the story very accurately, you're bound to repeat some issues, if any are already prevalent. And Jelly Jam issues are repeated, or at least just one big one, and that is sports theming. Now, this is a completely personal nitpick about the story, more than a nitpick. It's just like, I don't like sports, and this is a sports-themed story, so it really hones down on that. And it's not the most fun thing to read about. And I think it's pretty much just as egregious, if not more, than it was in the original book, of all things. Maybe a bit more, because there's like a whole montage here. There's actually a new issue of that story as well that involves, the climax of all things. It is extremely rushed out in a matter of a few pages, and I don't know what the artist was thinking. It's just, why? Why'd you rush it out like that? It comes off way too fast, and it should have been drawn out a bit more. And in general, Jelly Jam has a rougher art style at times. Now, overall, it's fine, but there are certain frames, I'd say a good, 5-6 pages worth, that are just not very good looking, and in fact, really bad. So the art style is generally iffy. Lawn Gnomes. I've been saving this whole story, actually, for this segment. And whilst I like the original story enough, not that I genuinely recommend it as a book, it's got prevalent recurring issues. It's got the living dummy feel. It is literally living dummy Lawn Gnomes. I don't care what anybody says. That's basically what that story is. And it just repeats some issues that are in that story already, as well as It has the worst art style I've ever fucking seen. It is awful. Maybe not the all-time worst, but now looking at this thing, this stuff is just very, very ugly. I don't know what the... I mean, I'm sorry, actually, to the illustrator for that, but no. Overall, I give the book a 6 out of 10. Now, it's not the best collection, but it's definitely the worst, actually. It's really sad that there was only 3 of these things, and I wish we'd gotten more just to see more adaptations of stories that might have not gotten enough love back in the day. Like, technically, Camp Jelly Jam didn't get much, even though nowadays it's hella glazed. As for rating each story individually, because yes, I do that, Lawn Gnomes gets a free... Ghost Beach gets a 9. This was easily the highlight and really the thing you should read this for. Such a good story. And Jelly Jam gets a 6.5. Hope you guys enjoyed this book review. Tell me what you think about Goosebumps Scary Summer graphic novel down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.